Hey everybody, welcome back to the Martin and Shithead Show. I am Double A Ron.
I am Shithead Dave.
And today we're going to talk about console wars. Not specifically console wars, but we're going to go really in depth with it. We're going to talk about games and if exclusives are good for the companies. Are they bad for gamers? Are the console wars good for gamers? We're going to talk about a little bit about that today. Let's start off with the newest controversy. Get it out there. The Tomb Raider game.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider got rehashed, and it was a huge success.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Great game.
Great new
graphics were good.
Yeah.
The new voice actress, she was good. It was just a good game.
It fit right in with the type of games that are coming out now.
It was multi-platform, so nobody was left out. You could play that on whatever venue, platform, whatever you want to call it. You could play it on. I have friends, Thor H13, he's on here. He played it on PC and his PS3. He liked it on both.
Yeah.
My roommate, Westicles, who does the Fans Perspective with me, he has it on PS4. I played it on that. I liked it on the PS4. I didn't get to play it on the 360. But me personally, I like the 360 controller, so I would have probably liked it better on the 360. Mm-hmm. However...
Yeah.
With the new Tomb Raider, it's going to be specifically Xbox One. Yep. And this has got some people a little peeved.
Yeah, including me, because Tomb Raider has been Sony since Tomb Raider's been around.
Right, its inception was the PlayStation.
Yeah, and you mentioned this before, ask any Final Fantasy fan how they felt.
Well, right, because Final Fantasy started off on Nintendo.
Yeah.
Started off, and then... once 4, I believe it was 4, came out, it was PlayStation exclusive.
It's very similar, but it's also kind of different because Final Fantasy, there is no big continuity. So it's like you play... For me, I'm strictly Sony, and I picked up Tomb Raider, loved it, couldn't wait for the sequel. Had a huge fan freak-out moment at E3 when they announced the trailer. And now I'm not going to be able to play it because I'm not getting an Xbox One. So it's kind of like the Final Fantasy, but it's like in order to continue the story, you have to switch over to another console.
Right.
Which is completely unnecessary and stupid.
Well, I mean, it's really an asinine kind of thought process for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense as a studio to start off with a multi-platform game.
Yep.
And then, because we've seen this in the past, this isn't the first time a multi-platform game has gone to a solely one platform.
Yeah.
But normally those are the franchises that aren't doing so well. Mm-hmm. This game was a huge success.
Oh, yeah.
It was a huge success on all platforms.
Yeah, and you're not going to make as much money with this being an Xbox One as you were going to be multi-platform.
Well, and you have to know that too, because Xbox One, they're not selling a whole lot of consoles.
No.
PlayStation 4 is winning by far.
And it's not just a strike against PlayStation. It's solely for Xbox One. So you're not going to be able to play it on PC.
It's not on 360, not on PC, not even on the 360.
Yeah.
Specifically Xbox One.
Yeah, I don't agree.
I mean, as gamers, we all had to see that coming eventually. They were going to make us switch to the new consoles. Mm-hmm. If you don't have one yet, we knew it was coming. They were going to force us to buy the new consoles eventually.
I don't have a PS4 yet, so I can't play Arkham Knights. I can't play this new. Well, I was planning on buying the new Tomb Raider. I can't get into any new games until I get that system.
I have a 360. I don't even have an Xbox One.
Yeah.
See, like Westicles, my roommate, he does have a PS4. So I have access to one, but the thing was he was going to buy a PlayStation 4, I was going to buy an Xbox One. That way we could play, on whatever platform we chose.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to afford the Xbox One, yet. I will get one, just going to take some time. Mm-hmm. But it poses problems, because people the original fans... Like, the people who have loved it since PlayStation days, they're very mad.
Yeah.
People are extremely agitated about this.
Yeah.
And with the Xbox One not selling as much as the PS4, it doesn't make any sense to me that they would alienate the PlayStation people. Because PlayStation 4 fans, they're not going to go buy an Xbox One.
Who do you think
Because the PlayStation 4, and these are facts, this is not my opinion, the hardware inside of a PlayStation 4 is better than the hardware inside of an Xbox One.
Yeah.
Now, the Xbox One is finally catching up. They're finally getting games in 1080p. You know, they're finally catching up as far as that's concerned, because the Xbox One does have the potential to play games in 1080p.
Huh?
But the PS4 just strictly speaking of facts here, they have better hardware. It can perform better because it is better.
So whose idea was this, you think? Because all we read was the article stating the fact.
I don't know. Because the only thing I've been able to read is that...
Who did the first one?
Well, yeah, Square Enix, which is the same people who make Final Fantasy. But it doesn't make any sense because Square Enix... Final Fantasy 15 is strictly going to be on the PS4, I believe.
Uh-huh.
So why is Tomb Raider on
it a trade-off?
The Xbox One?
Is it a trade-off, maybe?
I don't think so.
I like, this thing is just so from outer space. I don't even know why it's happening.
Did Microsoft pay Square Enix to have Tomb Raider specifically on the Xbox One?
I don't know.
Thinking that maybe if they make Tomb Raider one of the cornerstone franchises, it'll make people buy the Xbox One. I've played an Xbox One, and I've played Rise, which was supposed to be a big game as far as release was concerned. Rise is extremely short. It's fun, but it's short. So the only game that me and my roommate, and I think me and you have talked about it as well, the only game that makes me say, man, I really need an Xbox One to play this game is Dead Rising 3 for me. That's it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they just need more.
Well, Xbox does
severely. Franchise.
Well, Xbox does severely need more exclusives.
Yeah,
because Sony's beating them mercilessly in that.
Everywhere, though.
Yeah, they're taking it from all sides here from Sony. So they had to do something. So it makes me think: did Microsoft offer Square Enix X amount of dollars if they made Tomb Raider exclusive?
Yeah,
maybe Square Enix. Just made the decision by themselves. I don't personally know. I will admit that I haven't done a whole lot of research on the topic because I've only seen 2 articles. One article was strictly about the game, what the developer was talking about the game, and one article was specifically, this will be only for the Xbox One.
Somebody's getting paid off. Because
there's always money involved.
It's always about money, so they must have offered him more money than what it was going to be multi-platform.
Yeah, money's always involved.
It had to have been.
But this begs the question, considering how outraged gamers are, does this hurt or help these console wars? Do these hurt or help the business?
This particular subject, I don't know. I was going to ask, do you think, because Xbox has a recent history of going back on their decisions, do you think this will be, before release, do you think this will be all solved and they'll go back to multi-platform? Because remember the always online shit.
Well, yeah, but that was a Microsoft thing.
Yeah.
Though. That was Microsoft. That was Xbox.
So you think this is pretty dead
is
set?
A developer.
I think console wars do great for the gaming industry. Competition always does good.
Well, yeah, because controversy... Well, first of all, conversy creates cash, a la Eric Bischoff here.
Bischoff.
So there's always going to be controversy involved in gaming. That's something that we're never going to be... It's never going to be Sony directors and Microsoft directors holding hands to go towards the future of gaming. It's not going to happen because Sony makes too much money and Microsoft makes too much money. So, yeah, and it's great for the gaming business because it makes them come out with great systems like the Xbox. Because, okay, if we look back, in 2000, the PlayStation 2, great system for the time. The Xbox was a great system for the time. Fast forward a couple of years, the 360, fantastic for its time. PS3, fantastic for its time. Fast forward 10 years to now, and the PS4 is a great system. I've played on it enough. Sony has been really slow in its development for apps and things for the PS4, which is, they just now announced that PS4 is finally going to get a YouTube app. They don't even have a YouTube app.
But they've been focused on the games, which gamers were ecstatic about.
But even the PS4 doesn't really have a whole lot to... They don't even have a whole lot to show for it right now.
Yeah, all their stuff is coming out this October or this November,
Well, right.
Yeah.
And who knows if they're going to stand up.
Do you think, because this is a major low blow, in my opinion, of attacking a long-time Sony franchise. I know that there's such thing as the console wars, but do you think this declares war? Do you think people are going to try to snatch games? All right, we're going to take this and make it a PS4 exclusive now. Do you think that this is
that started a long time ago.
The age of exclusives, like everything, they're going to try to just grab everything.
Well, I'm going to say I hope not, and I'm going to hope that the developers have more sense than that, because you got to think about it. First-party development doesn't happen as often as people like to think. Yeah. That's why when people say I'm a Sony guy or I'm a Microsoft guy, if you really look at what games are first-party developed, we've got, God of War and Halo? I mean, there's more than that, but that's what we're looking at. As far as the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360 are concerned, it was Halo and Gears of War, God of War, and whatever for the PlayStation.
I sense terrible things in the Force here.
Yeah.
I really do. I feel like we're about to enter an age where, people are gunning for games to make it their exclusives.
I really hope that that's not the case.
It's going to be Nintendo and PlayStation, 95. 96, 95. Where everything was just
if the quality of the games are going to be 95, 96, if I get to play Tomb Raider and GoldenEye, fine. That's fine. If Sony's going to have an answer, but it would just all depend on what franchise, if we're going to talk about that, what franchise are they going to try to take from
I don't know.
Xbox?
Maybe we got too comfortable. There was an age of Nintendo, PlayStation. You either had both systems or you were either one. Yeah. And then we got really comfortable with I don't need that. It'll be on Sony too.
This, yeah.
Yeah, and now it might not be like that.
No, it might not be. And we might be looking at something as far as we might be having to go back to those hardcore fandom days where it was fuck Microsoft.
That's exciting.
It's an exciting prospect. And it'll definitely lead to more money for the companies. It'll certainly lead to more flame wars on Facebook. Yes. But I fear for the casual gamer.
You just have to buy everything.
Yeah, well, that's a tall order because you're looking at $1,000 for the systems alone.
Yeah,
and then $65 a game, $70 a game.
When they announced it, was it $399 for the PS4?
Yeah,
I was like, sorry, still can't afford it.
Yeah, I don't care that you dropped the price. I can't afford it because they dropped the price for the Xbox One too. Yeah, it's $499 now.
That's crazy. Yeah, I just can't afford that.
No, I can't, and I'm not the only one.
The name of the podcast isn't a gimmick.
Yeah, no, we're broke.
Broke ass.
We're recording on an app on my phone right now. That's what we're doing. We have the air conditioners off so that you can hear us and not get the feedback. But this will hurt people like me and you. I do think that from a business standpoint, not having a monopoly in gaming is fantastic because that means we're going to get good games. We're not going to get shit.
Yeah, but we're not safe. They just took our Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
nothing's safe anymore.
Yeah. But I think that the good thing about the gaming business, though, is that gaming business is filled with gamers. Uh-huh. And gamers are going to want games. So I think that as far as that's concerned, the gaming business is one of the most fan-friendly because fans are the developers. Yeah. And that's what I love.
I just feel
shrewd businessmen are the assholes who make the systems.
I actually am looking forward to it because, yes, the quality of games will skyrocket. But I do feel betrayed because if it was a developer standpoint, why not go with Sony, man? Why'd you do that? You just, pissed on the whole legacy of Tomb Raider and went with the enemy. And that is the enemy. Microsoft and Sony are strict enemies.
Oh yeah, I don't believe in any of the it's all for gamers because if it was all for gamers, we wouldn't have exclusives.
You wouldn't have those $2 million elaborate E3 shows.
Right. Well, and see the thing about E3 though is it's not open to fans. It's by invite only.
Yeah.
So, from the business side of things, gaming is just like every other business. It's all about the money.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money in gaming because we're never going to not want to play it.
I'll stick with Sony.
I don't particularly have a preference. I never have. Put that out on the line right now. When I was little, I had a Super Nintendo and a Sega. Mm-hmm. That was just because I was lucky enough to be handed both of them. Not my parents. I got a Super Nintendo for my birthday. I was given a Sega when my cousins got a new Sega.
That's really what
you know what I mean?
Grow up to be. You ask for stuff when you're a kid, but whatever your parents give you is what
well, see, as a gamer, I've been fortunate because, I had a friend, my friend Austin. he had video game systems. And, his mom, she was like a pack rat. Like, she would just go to, their garage was full of just bags of stuff she found at, like, rummage sales. So, like, one day she came home and we were upstairs, me and Austin, we were playing, and she goes, "Hey, Aaron, come down here." And she gave me a PlayStation.
Shit.
Because she just happened to find one at a rummage sale. A Nintendo 64 I got close to when the PlayStation 2 was coming out. I got it for Christmas from, like, my aunts. They gave me a Nintendo 64. I got a PlayStation 2 when Austin, like, he gave me his old bulky one when the Slims came out. The 360 I bought myself. Mm-hmm. But I've been fortunate because I've been able to either play these systems that my family members or friends had, or I was given them. They were given to me. So I've been fortunate as a gamer in that sense. Now that I'm an adult,
now you have to buy your own.
I have to buy my own shit. Like
I played.
I have my 360 still.
I played all those systems at cousin's house and all this stuff. Sega's Nintendo 64s, but it wasn't until I got my first job.
But it wasn't until
buy my own.
So I mean, as far as loyalty is concerned,
yeah.
If we're going to talk about loyalty, I guess I'm a Microsoft guy because it's the only system I personally have purchased, and I love my 360. As much as I like the PS3 as far as its Blu-ray capabilities and stuff, I would much rather play games on my 360. And I've played the Xbox One, and I've played the PS4. I would much rather play games on the Xbox One. Because it feels better to me. The controller feels better. I like the way that the system runs. I like the interface on the Xbox One better than I do the PS4.
I do like the feel of Xbox controllers better.
It's because it feels like a controller.
Yeah.
Like the PS3 controller, I feel like I'm going to break it if I move my hand wrong.
Until the 4 came out, it was always the same.
And the PS4 controller is nice, though.
Yeah.
I will say that I do enjoy the controller for PS4. So, I mean, I guess I am a Microsoft guy. Yeah. So this doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you, because eventually I'll own an Xbox One and I'll get to play Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Because
of the recent news that came out. And it's sad for me to see a multi-platform game go to one platform, because it really does hurt gamers in the long run, because it's hard to justify buying a system for one game. That's kind of why I don't own, because I had the opportunity to buy an Xbox One, but I didn't want to just buy it for Dead Rising. I didn't want the only game I played on it to be Dead Rising.
Like you said, I'm only buying it for one game, and it's not like I can just pick up at Halo 5. I'd want to go back and play all the Halos, and that's so many hours of gameplay, so much money. I'd have to buy a whole new catalog of games for this Xbox that I just bought because of Tomb Raider.
Right.
It's just that.
Which is what I'm saying,
game.
Just plays off what I'm saying. Like, people can't justify buying a system. I mean, even people who have the money to buy both systems, and they have, I guarantee you they can't justify it.
Yeah.
Like, not to me anyway, because they just bought both because they had the money to. That's not really justification for buying them. Mm-hmm. It could be the beginning of a lot of bullshit. I don't like bullshit. Like, I'm one of those guys. I don't like it when people bullshit with me. I don't like dealing with bullshit. And I hate it when a company tries to sell me a product and I feel like I'm getting the runaround.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like with this. Like, you want me to, like, okay, you made Tomb Raider. Great. But now you're going to give me this runaround, like, well, if you want to play the second one, you got to buy an Xbox One. Doesn't affect me as bad because I was going to buy an Xbox One anyway, but that's runaround bullshit.
I had plans. I was going to upgrade to the next gen. I was going to buy the next installment of the series.
Right, and that's gone now.
Yeah.
And it's an unfortunate one. Like, yes, I think that having a console war helps the industry, but it hurts the gamer.
Yeah.
And it always has.
And for the short run, until we're just forced to buy everything.
Well, in which gaming companies, they do that every time. They string you along for a while, and then they paint you into a corner where they force you to buy something.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's always worked. I didn't give up my Xbox, my original Xbox, till I absolutely had to buy a 360 when they stopped making Xbox games. I probably won't buy an Xbox One until they paint me into that corner of having no choice. Which they will do, and I'm ruining the day.
We'll just have to watch Thor play it.
I guess. Thor813, he's on Twitch. Check his stuff out. He's an entertaining guy. If you haven't heard him on our podcast or seen his YouTube videos, or on Vine, he's on Vine. He doesn't even put the Vines out. People make Vines with him in it. because they use his like Harlem Shake video
Harlem
and
Shake,
stuff.
yeah.
Be sure to check him out. Also, be sure to check out all the other Broke Ass Podcast Network content. We've got a new show. You can actually see what Double A Ron and Shithead Dave here look like on our new show, Nerdploitation.
Yeah,
we're going to be putting out. Yeah, it's on the FNX network, as is this show. We're going to put on shameless advertising now. This is shameless advertising by the Broke Ass Podcast Network. But Nerdploitation's a fun little show. We're going to release a new episode. I believe it's every Friday until the first season, which is going to be 15 episodes.
It's probably going to go all the way into October.
Probably. Yeah. We're going to release a new one every Friday. It's just a bunch of us geeks
just
pitting two characters. It could be fictional. They could be real. It could be based on TV, video games, you name it. We just put them against each other and we yell at each other for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, we just met each other and we're yelling at each other.
It's just a bunch of geeks debating. Make sure you check that out. We've also got, if you like Pokemon, we've got Rocket's Hideout with me and Hydros. If you're a comic book fan, we got the Fans Perspective with me and my roommate Westicles. If you're a wrestling fan, it's kind of our flagship program here. We've got Frustrated with Wrestling with Shithead Dave and Dr. Nick.
For all you FNX fans that have heard Frustrated with Wrestling, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/2brokejoblessguys. We've done 42 of those podcasts.
42 podcasts.
We've done...
There's only 2 Rockets Hideout and 2 Fans Perspectives out right now.
But
new content is coming.
Yeah.
So make sure...
Gen Con?
Yeah, this upcoming week, Thursday through Sunday, is a big event in Indianapolis called Gen Con. It's a huge gamers convention. I will be there live with Westicles. We're going to do a live Fans Perspective. I'm going to do a little solo run of the Martin and Shithead shows live from Gen Con. We're going to try to talk to some people out there. We're also going to try to get, the fans' perspective. So that'll be a lot of fun times. Make sure you tune in for that. We'll get that uploaded and sent as soon as possible. Also, enjoy all the other content that the FNX network has to offer.
Yeah, we enjoy listening or reading your guys' comments, especially that guy that disagreed with Aaron. Who was that guy?
Who was that on the
Fans Perspective?
Oh, the Fans Perspective guy. The guy who the guy who called me wrong, yet I still have not gotten a list from him.
No.
He says that me and Westicles did a top 10 heroes you shouldn't root for. And his comment was, I would like to scream. The nerd in me would like to scream at how wrong you guys are. And I asked him, well, okay, who's on your list?
Yeah.
And he has yet to send me that top 10 list. So I guess he really doesn't want to debate.
I don't know.
We could put him on Nerdploitation.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do. We just got on this website. We're already fucking with people. Arguing and
that's
fights.
not really... a lot of people that wasn't a fan of my... There are a couple of females that I would like to apologize to. Apparently you guys took it the wrong way. I'm not saying that you can't be Ant-Man fans. I'm just saying I find it funny the paradox of, well, he beats his wife, but he sure is a good character.
Maybe they're into that.
I guess if Chris Brown can beat the hell out of people and people still sell out his shows, I guess Ant-Man can still save the world and beat his wife.
That could be a fetish. Getting the shit kicked out of you by Ant-Man.
No, I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying you can't like Ant-Man. I like Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, if it was ever misconstrued, I was strictly speaking of Hank Pym. Mm-hmm. The other Ant-Man didn't beat the shit out of Wasp. It was just Hank Pym.
I mean, some women, fantasize about getting thrown around a little bit by Hank Pym.
I guess. Whatever floats your boat. But I'm not attacking you personally. I just think it's funny that you guys are like, oh, he's such a good character. And then it's like, well, he beats his wife, right? It's kind of like listening to rap songs when they're like, bitches and hoes. And they're like, I love this song. And I'm like, are you a bitch or a hoe?
They get me.
How dare you call me a hoe? Well, he did. You bought his album. You bought the album to listen to him in 15 songs. Call you a bitch and a hoe.
So we're having fun with you guys on here.
Yeah, we're just having a little bit of fun with you guys. But seriously though, if you disagree with our topics, if you have an idea for a topic, maybe you want to hear me and Shithead here talk about something. We're more than happy. We're completely receptive to all your ideas and comments. You can either hit us up with the comments below on YouTube, on FNX, or you can get to me at Twitter. I'm at Arathios.
And I'm at shithead_Dave.
All right. Well, make sure you post comments, do whatever you guys got to do, or just completely stay silent and listen to us. Whatever floats your boat. You guys have a good night.